will see another side of Saudi Aramco. Saudi Aramco cannot be covered simply in one session. It is the engine of our Saudi economy, and it produces opportunities left, right, and center. And we cannot talk about the investment in Saudi Arabia without discussing this a bit further. Now, your role in our supply chain, this is the topic that will be the presentation of Ms. Lenka Antolova from Aramco Overseas Company. I invite her to start her presentation.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start with a short question. Please raise your hand. How many of you are familiar with Saudi Aramco? Good. You passed the test. You're awake, because otherwise I would say you have to sit in again for the presentation of my colleague, Mr. Straathof. And another question, how many of you are familiar with Aramco Overseas Company in the Netherlands? Okay, that's a good answer as well, because otherwise my presentation would be useless. So I hope you will find the presentation useful. I would also like to thank the organizers for giving the opportunity for both of us. So we're the only company presenting with two speakers, so we feel very privileged. Thank you. So I'll, during my presentation, introduce Aramco Overseas Company. This is the fully owned subsidiary of Saudi Aramco located in the Netherlands. Specifically, my presentation is on how to become a Saudi Aramco approved supplier, explaining how we work with our suppliers, what we are looking for in our business relationships, and what benefits there are of working with us. So let's get started. I'll start my presentation with a short history of Aramco Overseas Company in the Netherlands, what roles and responsibilities we play in servicing Saudi Aramco, our mother company, showing you who our customers are, what are the locations where we operate, then introducing the supply chain activities that we provide to our mother company, specifically focusing on strategic sourcing, explaining what our sourcing requirements are, also service requirements, and then last but not least, explaining what the supplier pre-qualification process looks like. Starting with the history of Aramco Overseas Company. The company was first established in 1948 in Rome, in Italy. Its name was Aramco Purchasing Company, so as given in the name, the main role of the company was to provide purchasing as well as engineering and design services to Saudi Aramco. Not long after its establishment, in 1952, the company has relocated from Rome to Netherlands, to The Hague. This was for various advantageous reasons. For example, it was 30% cheaper to run the service from Netherlands than compared to Rome. Also cheaper than compared to London, for instance. The company has been established in The Hague, then moved later on to a smaller town close by. And in 2009, we have relocated again back to The Hague in Netherlands, where we are also now. The pictures on the slide are showing the offices, the buildings that we occupied from an hotel, small few rooms that we rented in a hotel, up to today, where we have our office on the right-hand top side, which is the office where we sit now. We have over 220 employees in this office, in addition to 100 plus employees in other locations that we have in Europe and Asia. Over the years, the portfolio of services of Aramco Overseas Company to our mother company has grown. So in addition to purchasing as well as engineering and design services, we also provide inspection, strategic sourcing, expediting, logistics, as well as research and development and staffing services to Saudi Aramco. However, the mission remains for the 60 plus years the same, to provide the best services and add value to the enterprise, to Saudi Aramco. So who are our customers? So traditionally, Saudi Aramco operations are our main customers, projects such as Manifa and Jazan, which we support from our office, but also more recently, the non-hydrocarbon projects, for instance, the King Abdullah University of Science Technology or the King Abdulaziz Center for World Culture. In addition to that, we also provide support to joint venture projects that Aramco has, such as Petro Rabigh or the Sadara project that was mentioned by my colleague. Where do we operate from? The headquarters, as I said, are in The Hague in Netherlands. In addition to that, we have inspection office in in Milan in Italy. This is where our large portion of our supply base is located. Then we have also an office for public relations and staffing services in London. In addition to that, we have 3 satellite research centers, one in Aberdeen in UK, one in Paris in France, and one in Delft in the Netherlands. And then we have also a sourcing and inspection office in New Delhi in India, which belongs under Aramco Overseas. So what it is that we provide to Saudi Aramco, across the supply chain, we actually provide all the services, starting from sourcing and supplier registration, through engineering, procurement, quality management, expediting and logistics. Talking about supply chain, one has to understand the supply preference of Saudi Aramco. This has been touched upon by my colleague already. The main preference is buying goods from local manufacturers. Hence, there is a great emphasis placed on the international suppliers and manufacturers to localize and start up their business in the kingdom. Where there are no goods available from local manufacturers, then the goods are being procured by local stockists that warehouse the goods. Where there are no local stockists available, the goods are being imported by local agents representing international companies. And then the last preference is to procure the goods through out-of-kingdom offices, such as our office in the Netherlands, which procures the goods and then ships them to Saudi Aramco. So who is the counterpart for all the companies that are interested to do business with Saudi Aramco? Within Aramco Overseas Company, our office in Netherlands, there is strategic sourcing unit where we work, and we are your counterpart in the process of pre-qualification to become a supplier to Saudi Aramco. There are 2 groups within the unit. One is strategic sourcing group. This group is the partner in going through the pre-qualification process. This is our main task, to source potential suppliers for Saudi Aramco for areas where Saudi Aramco wants to extend the current supply base with additional suppliers. In addition to that, we also promote local content, investment in Saudi Arabia, just like the presentation from my colleague. Also, we support Saudi Aramco in providing regional market intelligence related to the supply base, and then supplier relationship management. For the sake of time, the other group in the unit is a supplier registration unit, which is administering the supply base and providing backup in that area for us. Now, what are the sourcing requirements which we currently have? They are spread across all the strategic material categories, as we call them. And these are actually specific products where we look for additional suppliers that need to be pre-qualified and then are free to supply to Saudi Aramco. In addition to that, there's also a number of service requirements. So for companies that provide services in the displayed areas, these are also welcome to subscribe to become our contracting companies. So all this information on what it is that we are looking for in terms of sourcing material requirements, as well as the sourcing services requirements, are listed on our website, aramcooverseas.com, where you will find a detailed listing and also in a short application form, which you can fill in and submit through online application, and then it arrives with us for further handling. And last but not least, how does the supplier pre-qualification process look like? The process is twofold. This is based on the fact that Saudi Aramco recognizes 2 types of materials. One is standard type of materials, what we call non-inspectable, standard off-the-shelf products. On the other hand, what we call inspectable materials, highly engineered products, complex equipment, capital type of equipment, where we need to make sure that the suppliers comply with international or Saudi Aramco specifications. The pre-qualification for the standard type of products is easy, goes just through a desk review upon submission of the request, and based on the desk review result, potential supplier is either approved or rejected. And for the pre-qualification for the inspectable materials, obviously sensitive products, the process is more complex. First comes a desk review of quality, technical as well as commercial information from the potential supplier, which is followed by a review of the category manager in Saudi Arabia, in our headquarters in Saudi Aramco, and afterwards there is an actual plant survey of the production facilities of the potential supplier, which afterwards, based on the results of the findings of the inspectors and auditors, the potential supplier receives an approval or a rejection letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, sorry.